Hey everybody, welcome to Nomadic Moments. My name's Jake. Today we're going to be continuing the series that we were doing on the installs or the renovations that we did to our truck, camper, and home, Yolem. Specifically today we're going to be talking about this fan, the MaxXfan. It's a MaxX fan. Alright, let's try that again. It has 10 speeds and they can go both directions in and out, which is very convenient for keeping the airflow moving in our camper. It can exhaust the range or it can pull air in, nice cool air in at night. It also has a rain cover on it, which is really convenient for when it's raining, so we can keep the fan going, keep the air moving in here even when it's raining. So we really like it, and that hood only sits about 3.5 inches above the roof, which is very convenient for staying streamlined when we're out on the road. So come along, let me show you how we did this install. Stay tuned. Come along, yeah. All right, so next project on the camper is going to be replacing one of our vents with this MaxXfan Deluxe. One of the big reasons why we're replacing the old vent with this is that when we dropped the top of the camper, that made it all fabric or vinyl. And so you can create a suction and pull all that in, and it helps you tuck it away faster. The problem is the fan we have is over the bed, which is really hard to reach when the top's down. So you can turn it on just fine, but turning it off is a problem. So I'm gonna put this in over the central area over the kitchen, and that should help with it. We got to get off all the old silicone adhesive that's currently holding this vent in place. It's a 14-inch opening, which is the standard. What I read anyways is the standard opening for a vent, so should just pop right in there once we actually get the silicone off, get the vent off. Of course I can't stand on top of the pop-up because the pop-up has a 100-pound weight rating, so I'm gonna have to do it all off a ladder. So I'm sure it won't be easy to reach, but luckily I got pretty long arms, so but that's the project. That's what we're gonna be doing, so let me get started. I'm using acetone to eat away the old silicone. It's kind of hard to pour out of this, so I'm actually pouring it into that solo cup back there, and then just taking it and pouring it along the edges all the way around and letting it sit for a little bit and eat away. As you can see, I already got a pretty good spot pilled up. Pilled right off of there, and one pretty good piece, so yeah, once you put that acetone in there, it comes right off, so not too bad. I had nightmares about how hard this was going to be. Once the acetone took its effect, it was pretty easy to just chisel it out with a flathead screwdriver. And that's what I'm using. I'm also using gloves. Doesn't say you have to, but if it's bad for your lungs, like it says don't breathe it in, I think it's probably bad for your skin, so I'm using gloves. I'm also using a towel, you can see, to try to keep any excess from hitting my solar panel. I don't want it to hit my Proflex on the solar panel and eat away at that. Alright, so as you can see, we got all the old silicone off. Now we're going to take the screws out, and then the vent should pop right out, hopefully. One note, the solo cup was a bad idea, as most of you probably figured out. Something that eats through plastic is going to eat through the plastic cup. Yeah, it didn't take very long before I started leaking acetone. Luckily I didn't get it on my solar panel, so we're good there. Anyway, so don't use solo cups, use something metal if you want something smaller to adjust your pour with. But yeah, learning curve. So we're gonna take the screws out and we'll pop that vent out. Hard to do one-handed. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off the internal pieces. So I'm gonna unscrew all that pieces there and pull that down just to make sure it's not holding on to the top piece. I have a feeling it probably is, but we're gonna release it. Everything should separate. There's a screw right here. It has to come out to drop this vent, or the bug guard. Before you can take the screw completely out, you should take the crank handle out of there. It's just a little screw in the back. Don't know if yours will be like this, but mine was like that. You had to take a screw out of there and it popped right out. And now I can remove the screw that's holding in the vent. As you can see, we got the vent out, so I am literally standing inside the camper and got my head outside the camper, which is kind of cool. Anyways, there's a ton of this silicone all the way around the edges, so I got to clean that up. Some of that acetone to clean that up, and then we'll come back in with soap and water, clean it up real nice so that the next layer of silicone sticks really well. We've cleaned up all the old silicone, so ready to put the new piece on. The piece I have it's got these little metal hooks. They go on the left and the right of the camper, so the driver's side, passenger side, not the front and the back. I'm gonna put this in here in a minute, get it placed, and then trace a line, and we'll start putting on some silicone. I traced that line. It was pretty easy. The corners for me actually lined up with the old holes. So what I want to make sure I do is fill in these old holes, these old screw holes with a lot of silicone to make sure those are watertight. But in the corners, I'm going to fill them as well, but you know, the screws will go in there. So the other holes, there's only 3 per side on the new one, and there was 6 per side on the old one, so quite a bit different. It's a pretty good view. I'm gonna get that on, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put the piece on, because once the silicone's on, it'll be hard for me to get the camera up here. Okay, so as you can see, I've got this cap on, this mounting bracket, whatever you want to call it, for the actual fan piece. Not too bad. Went around the edges with the sealant, the RV ProFlex sealant. Even that out nice and even for about the 2 inches that the overlap sits on the roof. Made that nice and even with a soapy water mixture. You can even it out with your fingers. Just keeps the ridges and the air bubbles out. Then I can put the cap on, compressed it down, went around and screwed all the holes in. Made sure there was sealant as the screw went in, and then made sure to put the sealant on top of that, and then came back around and evened all that back out again. We got a nice little overlap of sealant on the edge. It's kind of hard to tell because it's see-through. What that does is it should keep the water out. Should be ready to put the fan cap on, or the vent cap, or whatever you want to call it. It's going to mount into these metal hole brackets here, so make sure those are on. Yeah, all in all, it wasn't too bad. Just take your time, make sure it's right, but at the same time, you gotta go about it pretty fast before the sealant dries and hardens. So I'll probably actually wait till this dries and then maybe put on another coat around the edges just to make sure I got a nice seal all the way around. Moving on to the next step. All right, here we are. I put the vent on top of the flange. It's just sitting in there. I popped open the top so it's slanted so you can get to the access screws. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna take 4 screws which land in those little metal flanges that we had before. This was actually pretty easy. The only thing you gotta keep an eye on is make sure your wires don't get hung up when you put it on, so that they're hanging to the inside, so when we go to wire it, we can access those wires. As you can see, we've got it up and in there. It's stationary now, so it's not, I can't push it. It obviously doesn't work because the wires are right here, so I gotta wire those to the 12-volt system. It's kind of nice. It's got this little lock thing, so when you push it in, you can't twist it, which allows it, keeps it locked, but then you just pull it and you can twist it up or down, which is kind of nice. One thing I found that I really don't like about this MaxXfan X, or MaxXfan. So this is supposed to slide up in here to make it nice and clean, right? So, but it's universal, which means that it's about 5 to 6 inches thick. My roof is only about 1 inch thick, so I've actually got to cut this thing down, which is what they recommend in the manual. I don't know why you can't. They should make this in different sizes so you can order the one you need, because having to cut this is going to be kind of a pain. But anyways, we're going to get our measurement, cut it, put it up in there, and lock it down, and then obviously we got to finish the wiring. So I need 1 3/4 inches for my particular application, but yours may be different. Obviously, probably will be different. You can see I got a line there, so I just marked the corners 1 3/4 inches. Used a straight edge, cleared it off. So I'm gonna take a saw, try to cut into this and see what happens. Hopefully I don't snap it. Cutting plastic with a saw is Never been a big fan, so. Got the piece cut pretty nicely. I put a jigsaw on it because I don't have really a fine-tooth saw. Not perfect, but it's up above, so it should be hidden, so it shouldn't really matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up here where the old holes were, just like that, but I'm going to run the wires out on that side, right over there. Alright, there it is. All mounted up, so I just need to get a little piece to go there. And then I'll get it some 14 gauge wire to run it back to my 12 volt system, and it'll be ready to go. But it's all installed. I'll show you when it's done, when I'm done wiring it. But oh, and I should mention I got the wrong screws. I used these on the roof earlier, the ones that are supposed to recess into this mount. So I had to trade those out. It took like 2 seconds. Anyway, so just make sure you get the ones that are with the flathead there and painted white to go for the inside, and use the other ones up on the roof. As you guys can see, the fan is working. Just turned it off so it wouldn't make noise. But it's all wired up. Got the wires coming through here. Of course, the wires show there, but if you wanted to cover it up, you could just get a little molding and put it on there. I don't mind seeing the wires, so I just left it the way it is. I took the hot and the negative and I ran it through this channel. I just tied in the negative to the light because there's no reason to take that all the way back to the electrical box, but for the hot I went ahead and just came down the channel. Again, came out right here. If you wanted, you could put a little cover on that. And then for me, I just came down my solar channel there. Makes it nice and convenient for when the roof pops up, all the wiring's right there together. Just come down the solar channel into the sink, and then that, of course, goes to my fuse box. All this, of course, is hidden inside the cabinet, usually. Still works even with the hood down. Put the hood back up. Hey, well, that's it for the install of this MaxX fan. As renovations go, the install on this fan was very easy, and I give full credit to the manufacturer. They've made a really good product that's easy to use. We use this fan all the time, pretty much daily, and for some days it never turns off. So it's very efficient on the batteries. It's very easy to clean as well. So the bug screen pops off, the fan blade pops off, the whole unit is a breeze to clean. Pun intended. Threw myself off there. Really like the fan. We did an entire post on why we love this fan and think it's the perfect fan for nomadic life. So you can check that out in the comments below. There's a link. We also did a post about this install, and you can get more information about the install. Hopefully that helps you guys out, and that link is below as well. That's in the link is below. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, do that there. And until next time, guys, we're gonna keep traveling.